right here too.
Just like a little gas, you know, a gas filter in your car, you know? Okay. I have this big huge. So, okay, liners, area. Okay, what I'll do with those is I'll take, send them all. Then I'll take. Look at it. Right there. All of them. Shock. What the hell was that here? I hope this thing was enjoyable for you folks. Oh, yeah. I was curious about the hybrid blanks that they put out there. Like the hybrid blanks, they're half wood and half acrylic. Those are done in a pressure. Yeah. Two parts. There, when you mix it, go immediately. This here doesn't go. No. Incorporate anything. Let's close it down and see what happens. Let's see what. Yeah.
Somewhere close to 28 or 9.
What's the soap in there? I'm just going to go ahead and get it off with it. It's not going to do anything. Yeah. This is a 5.0. I want to take this. This is one.
And this is a vapor box. Let's prevent moisture from.
No, that's just because.
Okay. Do that with aquarium pumps so that the water comes down and drips off. Well, it does make the air a little dizzy.
All right, if we can start getting back to our seats, we'll let Bill finish up his portion here. You can see the air is finally out of the wood and into the chamber.
No.
Out of the chamber.
Only if the hose collapsed.
And that's what you say you need to release before you turn that off, or it does a backwards vacuum. Okay. Yeah. Well, I thought everybody was interested. You had a lot of people come over around the table. That's always a good sign. Thank you.
I've never done anything.
Well, see, it feels good, right? You got that under your belt. All right. Well, let's all give Bill a hand for taking the time to explain this wood stabilization. He'll answer any questions if you got more later, I'm sure. But he did go through the process for us and kind of showed us what was happening here with water that would ultimately be happening with resin. Oh, the red color is because he didn't clean the chamber well enough on the last when he used dye, but you did see the action of what the pressure pump and everything was doing. So thank you, Bill. Thank you for that presentation. We're going to get now to our challenge table, I say. Well, actually, no. Let's get right to our dollar sweepstakes winner. So we need somebody honest to draw for us, Mike. You want to find somebody? Grab the bowl. It's got your tickets in it. Gary's pretty darn honest right here. Me? You question that? All right. Our winner for the choice of what they won off of this end of the table. Number 850. All right. Find your favorite item there. Everybody else, be ready to come back next week and get that other items out of theirs. So our challenge for this last month was to produce a photograph of a project that you'd done and try to take into account what we had learned from our photography presentation last month from Curtis and from Kevin. So Kevin, do we have some that have been sent in? Okay, and I guess Rob, you're the one that'll bring them up here. Okay, this looks like an Anthony Harris. So I'm gonna let Anthony come up and explain his critter.
This is the component parts of the flame-ended scroot, and it's made out of Gemsbach horn, which is what the body. Well, really, yeah. The head's made out of cherry. I think I turned it on 3 axes. The nose is made out of boxwood. The upper part of the legs is made out of pink ivory, and the rest of the wooden parts are made out of African blackwood. I used them mostly to hold the African porcupine quills, which are what the legs are made out of. I think most of it are 16 TPI, but the African blackwood may be 20. How about next? Is there another image? Hello? Is anybody home? Oh, there it is in action. We had some real problems with it has a startle reflex, and so if you moved too quick when it was around, it would light one wall on fire and bang into the other. It came from Epsilon Eridani. I have an uncle who was on the first trip out there, and he brought this back. We kept it in a, you know, those plastic mesh bags you get with oranges, oranges in it. We kept it in that because it kind of kept it from being able to move around very much. It worked pretty well. Yeah. That's it.
Rob, go ahead and bring up our next photo. And
next is Dan Carlson.
all right, Dan. Good photo.
Well, that is a hackberry. And I had to go buy some fruit just to give it some size, and that's without the fruit. And then some hedge. I just like the color of the hedge. I think that's the biggest hedge log I've ever had. So even though the biggest one there may be only 5 inches in diameter.
Okay,
So that's
on deck is Glenn Bradford. All right, Glenn. Glenn here.
I don't think Glenn's here. It looks like he's got a yarn bowl there, a J bowl.
You can stay up.
Oh, this is me. This is actually over on the chat or on the show and tell table, but this was using that little booth that I brought in and showed last week. And if you can see that line that goes across the gray there, that's a fold in my fabric. And Kevin said I really should go iron it before I tried it. And I meant to get in and try to iron it so that I could show you the before and after, and I never got it done. But that's a example of what not to do. Don't have a crease in your background. And then this is another similar. This was actually the prototype for the other one. And again, not too bad. I'm a little out of focus, so I don't get some detail up on the finial that I probably should have, and maybe some of the grain down on the base could have been better if I would have been more in focus. So just examples of trying to meet the criteria that was put out there last week and not hitting it 100%. Yes. I do. I put one on one side of the, and it's going through a silk film or silk screen, and then one on the other side. And I think on the other picture, I had it up against the window when I had some good afternoon light coming in the window, and that kind of helped. Then I could take away one of the lights and have a more less sheen on it. So that was mine.
Next up is Kay Calvin.
That's me.
All right, Curtis.
It says Kershaw, but
yeah, so I basically used the same homemade stick built thing that I demonstrated last month. This time for a light, I have a deal that sits on the desk for UV light for those of us who can only be in the dark for so long before we go crazy. And it's, about an 8x12. So I use that as a light this time instead of the other little one. So it's a little more dispersed, but yeah, thank you. And that box is sitting over there on the show and tell table too.
Carlson.
The mulberry vase, and it's you can put like dried flowers or things in it, and it shows that it's dried mint.
And Bill Sykes.
I didn't know we were going to talk about the pieces. I thought we were going to talk about the pictures. This is actually a natural light photo, so it is not what they showed last time. But so there's a perfect spot in my shop that if the light is just right at the right time of day, I get great photos. So whenever I want to take photos, it is never great light, but sometimes I can get it. So this is with my window shade closed, and go to the next photo. This is with my window shade open, and you get some nice heavy shadows going on right there. So this is more your atmospheric look than anything else. And I got one more photo that is a studio shot. there actually is a line back there if you look really close. But I tried to keep the focus right in front, right there, all lit up, and that's more of a studio shot right there for you. So studio and then natural light and natural light with the shade.
Last one is Sue's.
Christmas before last, I did a bunch of inside out ornaments. And the ones that actually went to the family had green tree beads inside them, which would have shown up okay in a shot like this. But I ran out of those, and this one has a crystal snowflake. And I think it would need some special lighting for it to show up. My special setup, that's a gray blue t-shirt hanging behind it, and the supplementary lighting was one of these.
Get a ticket. Let's see. Keep this coupon. Drop this one. Who all had? Oh, we got some photos here too. Yes.
Okay, I did my photo, actually made photos. So this is the piece that's over on the table, and I use two different backgrounds. On the left or your right, I use a white background, and the piece itself turned out dark. And on the left side is I used the gray background, and it made the piece lighter. And as you can see, I used two different lights because I got the reflection of the lights in the gloss of the piece. So it was kind of fun doing that.
What's your favorite?
I like this one with the dark photo or the dark background.
Oh, it's really good. All right. Well, thank you all that brought in for the challenge. And is there anybody that we missed? Anybody online that has any presentation of any sort? Just to make sure. Okay. Does anybody online have a photo that they want to pop up on there or no?
I had mine.
Ah,
I wish I had kept more of the background behind it after I cropped it. But that is a segmented maple and Duke bowl that I made, and I did photograph it with two lights on it in a silk screen photo booth.
is the background of gray or white?
Background is a white.
Okay.
Wish I could make it.
Nicely done. Rob, I need to get you a ticket. I'll hold yours. Okay. That's Rob. Sue, if you want to shake those up and get us somebody to draw one out of there. This is for the challenge winner for 7 exotic pin blanks that Bill Paulo brought in for us.
531.
And the number is 531. Phil, all right. Phil's got some pin blanks to work with, or finial material, or whatever you want to use those for. And I failed to tell you all, but Curtis brought in about 6 or so center finders, right? That he printed out with his 3D printer. So he's said anybody that wants one can grab one. So if you'd like one, they're right over there behind the challenge table bowl there, or the dollar sweepstakes bowl. And thank you for everybody that participated in the challenge this month. We're going to go right over into our show and tell table. So if you brought something in for show and tell, oh, but we're not, we're going to draw. Oh, we did. We drew for our winner of the challenge. Okay. Show and tell table. If you brought something up for show and tell, bring it on up here, grab the mic and speak into it.
There's a blue dot on the table to your left, probably underneath the paper towel. There you go.
This is the blue dot to set your items onto so he can get a great picture of them.
Okay, this is the item that I photographed. It's a hollow form. And it's a piece of ash that that Don gave everybody when he sawed up the ash tree. And I always wanted to try the embellishment around the top. It's large, burned large dots with surrounded by small dots, and just to form a little border around it. And this is really my first attempt at a hollow form. If anybody has any ideas how to check the thickness on the back side of it, I would like to know. I could do the top, but the bottom, I had to use a Rube Goldberg type of system involving my drill press. So it was interesting. And this is from the same piece of wood. It's a heart-shaped shallow bowl for Valentine's Day.
First, let me say I'm glad to be back. Hey, thank you. I recognize quite a few of you, and there's new folks since I've been here. I was Jeff Bridger's stunt double for a while with cancer and COVID and 6 operations, so I'm glad to be here. I was at a Christmas party and somebody said, "Well, you're looking good." And I went home and looked in the mirror and I thought, they never tell you that when you're young and you actually look good. And I can't remember what year they started saying you're looking good, several years back. Anyway, I thought, well, what can I offer the club, because I haven't been forever other than a few Christmas ornaments. And I thought, well, I can bring some of my older things. Some of you saw them once and some of you haven't seen them at all. I usually try to do things in series, and this is part of my grape series. I've got a couple others that go with that series, but I like to do this type of thing. I use a lot of airbrushing. This was spalted sycamore. This was a piece of maple. And one time we were to make a scoop. And so this is my grape scoop with the petrified grape that's rolling across the table. So that's it. Yeah. Question of back today, and I can't remember who question, but you go like this and put all those. Well, on this, describe quickly how you did that. This is stippling with I do a lot. I used to do a lot of piercing. And it's kind of a modified dentist drill. It's a can't even think the name of it. Anyway, it's pencil shaped instead of dentist drill shape. But you put a burr bit on it and you just. Anyway, it takes. Yeah, it's faster though. It turns 400,000 RPM, and there's a Ford that turns 40 RPM. So, and you need it fast when you're piercing, because it will follow the grain and then it messes things up. And then I airbrush, get the design on it. It takes time, keeps me out of the bars.
All right, so I gave my presentation last month, but I've never brought anything that I've turned. So I brought a couple things this week or this month. You know, coming off of Christmas, you get new tools and new fun stuff. I got the Sorby texture spiraler tool, and that made me brave enough to decide to get a thread chasing tool. I did get the Carter and Sons. You can take a look at it if you want. My shop does not have any kind of heat or anything in it, so I usually do green turn bowls. But when you're getting sprayed with water and it's 48 degrees, that doesn't last long. So I had snagged a couple of pieces of the back cutoffs last month while I was here, and took some time to do some different boxes and try some different things. I also got Hampshire Sheen, intrinsic colors and carnival colors, and some of their waxes, the tinted wax, which is how I did this one. Rubbed the wax into the voids, into the grain. It gives a nice little thing, and I did some white on this one. That was supposed to be red, although I'm told it turned out orange. I think it's great when you spray it on, which is what I did. But I tried to go over it with the Penn Turner shellac, and I think the heat just kind of rubbed off a lot of and the alcohol in it rubbed off a lot of the color. So, but yeah. And then this was a honey locust bull that I turned last year that I pulled out of drying and finally got dry. So I went ahead and finished it this month. So that's another piece that I did. I've used the Yorkshire grit paste, and I like it pretty much. I have not used the Hampshire Sheen. I have a wax, like the colored wax and some actual color like dyes, but I didn't get the actual gritty Hampshire Sheen. But the Yorkshire grit seemed to work okay. Hampshire Sheen, I think it's a competitor, but I think it's maybe Hampshire Sheen's a little bit finer than the Yorkshire grit, but kind of same stuff. Maybe I don't know. I haven't done that much research on it. Yeah. So.
So I made a bowl here. It's just some little CNC work on the outside. I don't know if you can zoom in. It's like a basket weave pattern on the outside. It's basically ash. It's a couple pieces of ash I glued together. Made the bowl, carved it on the outside on the CNC, and then I turned it on my lathe manually for the inside. Finished with lacquer, and it's kind of took a while for me to get the design of it. The hard part was with the basket weave to get it even numbers of pieces around the full circumference. So that was kind of the challenge, more than actually cutting it. Any questions? I'm sorry? Oh, it was with the CNC turntable, rotary. It's computer. It's basically a program in a computer with a router cut it basically. Yeah, it's just like a lathe. It's basically a lathe with a router on the top that comes down and moves back and forth. So the design software, it's called Vectric. You know, it's a English company, and they pretty much have most of their market for CNC wood cutting and stuff. So, but yeah, it took a while on the design of it to get it all set up. But I think it came out pretty nice. So, other questions? Thanks.
started doing I mean, I was down in the basement. I didn't want to be out in the garage either. My dust control system is to open up the garage door at both ends and let the wind go through. So it was uncomfortable. This is pear and walnut. I drilled. I don't know. I didn't used to do it. But I drilled most of the way to the depth, and on the harder woods, the square cross section of the hollowing tool doesn't enlarge the hole too much, and you can see that it's enlarged it significantly there. I use normal calipers, bowl calipers, to check my depth. If you have places that are hard to reach, what I'd usually do is use a coat hanger, cut it to length, and then bend it so that it fits the places you want. But one of the problems with it is it doesn't necessarily fit everywhere. And so you might have to have 2 or 3 of them, but you can get most of the places you need to go. It's shellacked and wax.
The beauty of not putting a banana beside it. Yeah, in the photo, I can make them look as big as I need to. This is and truthfully, one of my challenges on this. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know where the blue dot is. One of my challenges, or my challenge to myself on this was I got a beautiful piece of 3x3x2 Thoya burl is what this piece is. And before I attacked it, I kind of thought through, well, how can I get the most out of this? And so my idea was to V-cut into the face of it and take the triangular piece that I got out of that V and rotate it up and use it at the top. So I got just a little bit more than what I would have gotten out of maybe just the 2x2x3. So before I hit it with and started with this one, I took a piece of walnut that I had and tried the concept with that one. Had good success. I did notice that the walnut moved a little bit in shape, so my lid's not fitting in there real good unless it's in one certain spot. Didn't seem to have that problem here. This one is walnut with, I think I had some figured maple, and I didn't have enough length in figured maple, so I just went and got some other maples and made the finial and the base for it, but the ring around it was a really nice piece of figured maple. This one, like I say, was a Thoya burl, and then I had some nice chunks of cocobolo, and so I used cocobolo on the base, on the ring here. So the ring on the lid actually takes up kind of that void that I used with my parting tool when I went down in at an angle to get this piece here turned out and flipped over. One thing I did have to think about, and I did literally draw this all up so that I could think through the stages so I didn't get to a point and go, oh, I needed a 10 in there. So one thing that I did was before I cut my V into it, I cut a little circular mortise that I could use then to chuck up to for this smaller piece so that then I could finish the bottom and keep it in the lathe the way I wanted it. So Bill Polo told me, because I saw the images, I've seen images like this on Pinterest a lot. And Bill said that it's a Cindy Drozda design. So I just kind of stole her idea, I guess. But that's it. Thank you. Out here just before 9. Yeah, we're going to get out and get on the road tonight before the snow hits. I really, really hope that I would have a first slide in our presentation that would be congratulating the Chiefs for their three-peat. But unfortunately, as we all know, that didn't happen. But, you know, we've got to be pretty excited, and we're pretty blessed with the team that we've had over these last 10 years, really. So I'm not complaining. I was disappointed in the game, but I'm not disappointed in our team at all. So it's time now to get ready for the "Let's Go Royals" chant, right? All right. So we're coming up on baseball season. So thank you all for showing up tonight. If a few of you can help get some of the chairs put back on the racks, that would be great. And next month's challenge, Bill. All right, this one isn't, this leaves us wide open for a lot of things on the challenge table. He's saying, just bring in something that you turn that you're real happy with the end result and present it next month. So, all right, that was wide open. Everybody should have a challenge piece next month. Thank you all, and we'll see you on the 10th, I believe, of next month.